Recovery from what? Recovery from PTSD, addiction, trauma. There's a lot of options out there, and they're typically very expensive. If you don't want to spend $250 an hour with a therapist who is probably has a heart in the right place but just doesn't get it, or if you're in the military and you have to get on some long wait list for someone who may not care or may not understand or may not be fully qualified in trauma, this video today is for you. It's just triage, okay? So if you have a wound, you clean it, you mend it, you put some band-aids on it, and that's all this is going to be for today. I'm not giving you some solution, some high ticket offer of how to do something. I'm going to tell you what I did and what helped me, because I feel like if I don't share it, I'm holding a gift back, and this was truly a gift for me. Most people, when they are drawn to art, think, well, I don't know what to do. Where do I start? My work's not going to be any good. Perfect. You're in the right place as a beginner. To have the humility to say, I don't know what to do first is a great place to be. Most people let their ego get in the way and they just don't start because they don't want to make crappy work. And I'm specifically including some of my crappy work for you to see, because it's not about the art. It's about what happens in the mind, and it feels so good. So when I started recovery 21 years ago from addiction, first of all, it's an anonymous program, so don't tell anyone. But I felt like I was crawling out of my skin. I didn't care to be in public places. I'm still very much an introvert and a loner, and that's okay. We're not trying to change who we are altogether. We're just trying to get the information and the solution to start a new life, which is so cool. So I was like, who can I help today? Who can I help? What's my message? And I was like, well, I'll just help someone who may have been like me 20 years ago and who wants to change their life. The first thing you have to do is have faith that there's something bigger than you. I'm not going to tell you what kind of faith, what church to go to, nothing like that. This is more spirituality. Finding a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. And that part I struggled with, because I was like, I'm not insane. I just don't want to drink anymore. But you find out when you put a substance into your body for so long, thinking it's going to work, and then saying, I'm never doing that again, and you do it again, it's kind of insane. Back to recovery. God, recovery, and drawing. That's what saved my life. And I hope it saves yours, because you are worth it. With God, all things are possible. So the first thing I did when I was brand new was I would take little scratch pieces of paper that were on the table when I'd go to meetings, grab one of the pens out of the cup, and I would just draw. I would draw my hand. I would draw my feet typically, because I always had my head down. Guilt is good if it corrects your path. Shame is absolutely corrosive, and it's no good. It's no good for you. I think it mars the soul. Get rid of the shame, and reaching out for help is a very heroic and courageous thing to do. I support you. I basically got to the point where I was like, well, I kind of like these drawings, and I would date them, always date them. Because now when I come across something that's 10, 15 years old, it's like, oh, wow, that's cool. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is buy a sketchbook. I don't even know what this brand is. Lita Art Supply. Shout out to them, whoever they are. The only thing I look for is make sure it's acid-free paper, because hopefully you're going to be recovering for many years. And the thing that I do is I get basically like an 8x8, so I can kind of tuck it under my arm and bring it in. It's not some big, huge sketchbook that draws attention. And like I've said in other videos, my absolute favorite ink pen in the world, and I couldn't find them at Target, I always have to order them online, is the Pilot Fine Liner. It's the best. It doesn't smear that much and it doesn't go through the pages. As I went through the years, I noticed that I was more and more drawn to the actual act of drawing. So I wasn't worried about the outcome. I wasn't trying to make something to impress people or to sell. There's something very pure with drawing with ink for me, because I never time lapse it. Yes, I did write a book about it, but it was a whole process of recovering from trauma. So if you're on a waiting list and you're struggling, I would say the first thing to do is get an 8x8 basic sketchbook, order a pack of Pilot fine liners, and draw. The great thing now is, if you do want to like quit drinking, for example, you can go on Zoom meetings and you can sit there and draw in your living room. But I do recommend going in person, because being around other people who are just like you, who understand exactly what you're going through, man, that's a pretty cool thing. So today, I'm going to conclude with this. My mom used to say, God rest her soul, Janet, I loved her so much. She used to say, when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. And I used to get a visual as a little kid. And I was like, okay, just as long as I can hold on. So hold on, get a sketchbook, get your pens or your pencils. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the process of what's going on in your mind. First, I thought it was so fascinating when I discovered it. That's why I wrote the book, because it was a combination of writing poetry and these drawings that was doing something to my brain. I got into a deeper state of flow, relaxation, and calm. And I was like, why isn't everyone doing this? I was even thinking, not necessarily rehabs, which would be ideal. Give every patient who comes in a sketchbook and tell them to start drawing. Draw your feelings, write out how you're feeling that day. It doesn't necessarily have to be art, but what if we could, maybe this is controversial. I don't care. It's what I think. What if we gave sketchbooks to prisoners? We have so many men in prisons, and women too. Give them a sketchbook. What a calming way to let them reflect or learn or grow and get out of that fight or flight. I did have a God when I came in to recovery, and I was like, oh, I don't need to learn anything about God. I pray. But you know what? I had the wrong God. And the really cool thing about an anonymous 12-step program, which I won't mention, but you can look up, is they allow you to have a God of your own understanding. And that's a beautiful thing, because I think I had a punishing God, or a God that was waiting for me to mess up, and that's so far from it. I serve a very, very compassionate God who is walking with me day by day, healing. And I think Jesus said, I should have looked it up before I started this, but that's okay. I'm speaking from the heart. And speaking from the heart is where it's at. When he said, the sick need a physician, that's why I came. He didn't come for the well, he came for the sinners. He's always trying to draw us back and let us know how much we love him. And I think that's the best promise, that we can find a God of our own understanding and we can recover, whether it's trauma, PTSD, addiction, food addiction, any of those things, you can get better. And it's a pretty cool journey. So get your sketchbook, start drawing. God bless.